proposing to the City of Albuquerque and the City Council members a plan for helping the homeless population of Albuquerque during the pandemic by providing water sources for hydration, hygiene, and health care. The extent of homelessness in Albuquerque. There are 1,524 people living without homes in Albuquerque, though most likely this number is closer to 4,500 to 5,000. The mayor of Albuquerque, Tim Keller, estimates the actual estimate is probably closer to 5,600 households. Based on a 2019 point-in-time count conducted by the New Mexico Coalition to End Homelessness, there are 1,524 homeless, both sheltered and unsheltered taken into account. Over the course of 2018, the mayor's office estimates that about 5,600 households experienced homelessness in Albuquerque. The graphical representation on the right shows a snapshot of homelessness on a given night in Albuquerque. It breaks down the different demographics within the homeless population to show adults alone, families with children, and youth alone, as well as the unsheltered, in emergency shelters, and in transitional housing numbers. Problem. People living without homes in Albuquerque lack sufficient resources, including water for hydration, hygienic, and healthcare purposes, as well as to cool down during the relentless hot summer days of Albuquerque. Some people have been forced to bathe in the Rio Grande. It is too hot for them not to have a clean water source. Citizens thought that the water fountains at city parks, such as at Robinson Park, had been turned off, perhaps intentionally by the city, though Jesse Damazin, a spokesperson for Mayor Tim Keller, said some fountains may not be functioning because they're broken. It is also hard for people living without homes to find soap and hand sanitizer, as well as to find personal protective equipment such as masks and gloves, and impossible to enter businesses and resource centers without masks. There are many broken water fountains and taps throughout the city. Lack of access to drinking water. It is difficult to find soap and hand sanitizer throughout the city. There are very few public bathrooms as well. Difficult to find masks and gloves, and difficult to find a place to shower. And it's also difficult to have clean clothing and access to laundry facilities. Often people living without homes only receive resources like PPEs, including masks and gloves, from local church groups. The CDC advises the unhoused have access to water taps and public bathrooms and hand hygiene material, as well as access to ample information and resources regarding the COVID-19 pandemic. My strategic plan includes giving out reusable metal water bottles at shelters and resource centers throughout the city, fixing water fountains and taps throughout the city, mobilizing shower trucks and trailers with laundry facilities, providing sanitizer and personal protective equipment throughout the city and its shelters, adding additional public restrooms and hand washing stations stocked with ample soap and sanitizer, and allowing free public bus access on all bus lines throughout the city. To help provide drinking water to the unhoused population of Albuquerque, I propose collecting and distributing reusable water bottles, adding additional water fountains and taps throughout the city, and fixing existing water fountains and taps throughout the city and at public parks. This would make clean water more accessible for people living without homes. Here is an example of a mobile shower trailer design plan with 5 shower stalls and restrooms and hand washing sinks. I propose that the city add porta potties and hand washing stations at public parks, as well as adding additional public restrooms throughout the city, stocked with soap and hand sanitizer. I propose that the City of Albuquerque also give out personal protective equipment like masks and gloves, as well as hand sanitizer and soap to the homeless population.
Costs include the cost to distribute reusable water bottles, the cost to install additional water fountains, the cost to fix water fountains, as well as hiring plumbers to do so, the cost to supply masks and gloves, to homeless people throughout the city, the cost of adding additional public restrooms and porta potties, the cost to supply hand sanitizer and soap, as well as to supply hand washing stations throughout the city, the cost to buy and operate a shower trailer, which includes the cost of an electric water heater for sinks, a propane water heater for showers, and the cost to employ personnel to ensure operations and security. My budget includes the cost to operate shower trucks and trailers, which is around $60,000 for a 5-station shower restroom sink combo trailer, and around $2,500 per month to operate and maintain the shower trailer. The cost of supplying water bottles, hand sanitizer, and masks to unhoused people throughout the city is around $15,000. To supply masks for each homeless person throughout the city of Albuquerque is around $4,000 to $5,000 alone. The cost to build additional public restrooms is approximately $150,000 to $250,000. The cost to buy a porta potty is around $700, and the cost to buy a portable hand washing sink is around $650. It is around $300,000 to maintain a public restroom annually. The cost to fix water fountains in parks would include the cost of hiring a plumber at around $45 to $150 per hour. On average, it is around $2,300 to install a new drinking fountain. Benefits of my proposal include providing for the needs of the unhoused population of Albuquerque, as well as providing access to clean drinking water, providing access to water for hygienic purposes, including showering and washing hands, providing access to public restrooms, providing access to hand sanitizer, as well as water at water stations, and to supply comfort, health, and hygiene, and less of a risk of contracting and/or spreading the COVID-19 pandemic. Safety and quality of life for people living without homes is both innumerable and invaluable as a result of my proposal. In conclusion, to summarize my proposal, I propose giving out reusable water bottles to the homeless. I also propose adding additional public restrooms and hand washing stations, as well as adding additional and fixing existing working water taps and fountains throughout the city and at public parks. I also propose adding and mobilizing shower trailers with multiple shower stalls, restrooms and sinks, as well as laundry facilities. Free public bus access would also be very important in order to get across town and access these resources for the homeless people. From the Albuquerque Healthcare for the Homeless website, every person has the right to adequate food, housing, clothing, and healthcare. All people have the right to participate in the decisions affecting their lives. Access to water and hand washing is a human right. Thank you so much for your time and consideration for supplying for the needs of the population of people living without homes in Albuquerque during these hard times of the COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you.